Hey guys, welcome to my channel. Today I have a message for you, but this is more of a message that I'm receiving for myself, that I'm feeling like sharing, because sometimes what happens is I receive these messages which apply to me but also apply to a collective. So here it goes. The message that I'm getting right now is to surrender so deeply to the universal forces. Now, I believe in God, as in, I do believe in deity worship. I am from Hindu culture, but whichever culture you're from, whatever God that you pray to, I feel like the message coming for me is to surrender to that divine force. What is God? I believe that God is just an expression of the divine, the universal force energy, right? It's a different interpretation for every culture. So the message that I'm receiving right now is to have a balance between the masculine and the feminine, and to understand when you have to be empowered and stand up, and when you have to be softer, compassionate, and more nurturing and kind, and more feminine. So yes, online you'll see all those videos where feminine, like the energy shown, like with the volcanoes and the tsunamis and all of that chaotic nature energy, which is also true. I think that is a different side of feminine energy. But the message I'm getting right now is masculine is action, feminine is like receiving. If masculine is like fiery, fighting energy, like somewhat aggression, so like pushes, and the feminine is a magnet, it receives, and it nurtures. It's like it fills up the so masculine is a container, right? It is holding the feminine, and the feminine is like this energy that is like water. It flows and flows, so you can't keep the feminine in a container, but basically a masculine is supposed to hold and feminine energy is supposed to flow. So everybody has these energies in them, and you have to sort of figure out what situation you are to be embodying which energy. And so that is the message, as well as to surrender, right? To just sort of like, if you have any belief systems that help you have faith in the greater good, in miracles, then the message I'm getting is to believe in that, and to believe that these universal forces that are embodiment of goodwill, that are the embodiment of protection, love, miracles, prosperity, abundance, healing, you have to allow that energy to come into your life, to flow in your life again, and to be grateful to that energy, and be open to receiving it, and even ask for forgiveness if you have wronged somebody in any way, shape, or form. The Ho'oponopono method is real, you guys. We have to move through life as light as possible. We cannot move through life in a good way if we are carrying guilt and shame, and those are heavy negative energies. Even if you have anxiety or depression or any negative energies, you have to sort of like surrender to the greater gods or the universal force, and allow them to sort of move through you, flow through you, and be the vessel and receive that energy. And in return, you can probably, I don't know if you want to, but you can do worship. That's what works for me. I've never been a religious person, but for some reason now in my life, I find myself pulled towards learning deity worship at this time. It's not that I never did it, because my parents are heavily in this stuff, and their parents were, and their parents before that, so it's a generational thing in my family. And I just never followed it because I was questioning a lot of things at a young age. I followed it when I lived with them, but on my own path, I was more on the spiritual journey to question things and understand, and all of that process of law of attraction and manifestation and all the stuff, shadow work, inner child healing, everything that you see nowadays, astral projection, all of the stuff that you hear about spiritual in the spiritual community, been through it, and that has still brought me back to deity worship. And I feel like when there are hard times, I can rely on myself as well, to the point where whatever I have to physically in the 3D world, right, I have to ground myself. I have to do the thing. God is not going to do the thing for me. Or any universal force or law of attraction also states that it cannot do the thing for you. It's not going to be like, hey, moving my hand. I have to align physically to get that. But what I am trying to say is, think of them, pray to them, thank them, gratitude, and the Ho'oponopono method. Ask for forgiveness, even if it is about small slights. It doesn't even have to be like something really big. I'm sure. I mean, hopefully it's not big, but you never know, because it's not about just this lifetime, many different lifetimes. And so ask for forgiveness, pray with gratitude for whatever you have, and then continue whatever daily practices that you do that help you stay connected to the divine force. That is the message right now. Like, sometimes there are so many factors in life that are out of our control, and when things are so out of our control, I find for me that what really helps is prayers, because every time I do puja, it raises my frequency. Every time I meditate, it raises my frequency. I feel like whatever heavy weight I have been carrying is like, it's called arpan karne. So arpan jhala means like I let it go. I basically gave it up to where it, like, into the ethers back, and that energy is no more in me. And so I'm able to stay calm, and I'm able to do whatever I'm supposed to do here without any heaviness. And so that is the message for today. Move through life as peacefully as you can, as calmly as you can. Life is gonna be up and down sometimes. We can't stop the roller coaster ride that life can be sometimes, but we can control the roller coaster of our emotions and how we handle things. And really, what I have seen miracles happen in my life every time I turn to law of attraction and combine that with some kind of worship. But that could also be like what works for me. Maybe that doesn't work for you, so that's fine. That is just the message I'm getting right now. For me, I have started doing proper deity worship. Like, I'm using the Ganga Jal, I'm cleaning the deity, the idols. I'm worshipping with everything, the haldi kunku, the agarbatti, like the incense stick, and camphor, and the flowers every day. So I'm getting right into it, and I don't know much about it. I feel like I'm just sort of relearning it again. And I'm part South Indian, part Maharashtrian. So I'm neither this nor that, but at the same time I'm both. And I've always found like I'm kind of like that, at the fringes of things. I never quite fit in, but I never quite stood out. But I also stood out, and I also fitted. I don't know how to put it. I think for me, my journey has always been neither this nor that, neither spiritual nor religious completely. So I don't fall into one particular category, but I kind of walk the line in between, I guess. And maybe I go like this as my path takes me, wherever my path takes me. So if this message resonated with you, great, let me know in the comments. I am also reading a book called Arcana Deepika, which has detailed details about how to do deity worship in Hindu culture. So I think I'm kind of a nerd when it comes to these things. When I thought about the Vedas, I bought the Atharva Vedas. I am trying to read that as well, but it is a bit hard because they don't give context, they just give like translations. So anybody who knows books that could help me build more context, great, let me know. But I'm not giving up. Life is hopefully quite long and I am a nerd, so I'm going to nerd it out reading these books and gaining as much knowledge as possible. See, that's the reason I was never quite fully religious, because no one had the time to answer my questions. I had so many questions, like why do you do this, why do you do that, like what's the story behind this thing. Like today I was asking my mom, you know, I was like, I know that Hanuman is still in our realm because he genuinely is attached to, or like likes that we do Ram, like we worship Ram still, and then we worship Ram, so he wants to be there in that energy. And I was like, what is the story behind that? When did that start? When did that relationship start, and what happened? So if you know that as well, please let me know in the comments. I'm going to do my research soon. There's so much about the history, and yes, I don't call this mythology. I believe that Ramayana and Mahabharata are real. You can protest me on that and I will not care, because there is so much in our Indian Puranas, so much knowledge, so much that it just absolutely, they knew stuff about astrology, astronomy and science and maths at the time when like life, like there are no other places on earth which have that timeline and that knowledge in books. So that should account to something. So I'm not gonna say that, you know, I'm not gonna make any claims. From what I know, I'm sharing, and I may not know everything. Okay, so that's my message for the day. Like, gain knowledge and use it for your personal growth and well-being, I would say. I think every area has some effect on the other area, and for me, I've always been primarily more spiritual and more spiritually inclined since school, and that's why for some reason I never really, I mean, I was always a little socially introverted, I would say, so people didn't really understand me and I didn't understand people. So, but I was happy reading my books at that time. Still am, if I have to be. But I like hanging out with people, so it's a whole other thing. But point being, I'm from marketing, so I have had the opportunity to work with many different kinds of people, and I'm lucky in that sense where I love psychology, so I love to understand what makes people tick and building user personas and all of that whole thing where you do research, product research, you do target group research and everything, that thought that goes into making a marketing campaign. That was my past job, and I got a chance to meet so many different kinds of people, and it was so fun and exciting. It was definitely draining on the introverted part of me, but it was also very intellectually stimulating and exciting, and I miss that sometimes. So I guess maybe I'm oversharing here. I don't care. This is me, just being me. Anyway, back to the topic. That is my message for the day.